Hello everyone and welcome to another webinar by Royal Cyber and RiverMeadow. My name is Preetham and I'm the Senior Business Development Executive at Royal Cyber, and I'll be your host for today. Before we proceed, in case if anyone is not able to view my screen or hear me properly, please notify me in the chat window located on the right side of the pane. Before we start, I want to talk about today's agenda on Royal Cyber and RiverMeadow software migration expertise. And today I'll be talking about the agenda for today's call. We will be talking about Royal Cyber and RiverMeadow software. We will be talking about general migration challenges, migration solution, our success stories, enablement and handover, and our cloud managed services, followed by Q&A session. As always, we always have a great speaker, and our speakers for today are Michael. Michael is from RiverMeadow, and Juzer Ali is from Royal Cyber. Saber is from Royal Cyber. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hi,
Yeah, thank you, guys. So we will be talking about Royal Cyber and RiverMeadow software overview today in our discussion. Let me brief you a little bit about Royal Cyber. Royal Cyber is headquartered in Naperville, Illinois. We are AWS partners. We're also partners with IBM, SAP, Microsoft, and Oracle. And we operate in more than 8 countries with global offices in US, Canada, UK, Australia, Middle East, and India. We've also won a couple of awards from IBM for being very innovative in terms of our product offerings, like the Beacon Award for being very innovative in developing a mobile solution. And this is our expertise in terms of various lines of businesses. We have a practice in terms of digital experience, e-commerce, asset management solutions, business process management, enterprise modernization, mainframes, mobile solutions, and artificial intelligence and cloud solutions. These are some of the awards and recognition that Royal Cyber has got. As you see, we are also partners with DevOps, Chef, and Oracle, and AWS. And this is our some of the Fortune companies that we work with. These are some of the brands that we have worked in terms of implementation, consulting, and migration on the IT products. And let me, without any further ado, let me hand it over to Mr. Michael, who will be taking it over from here. Hi, Mr. Michael.
Thank you very much. My name is Michael Kent, CTO for RiverMeadows Software. We're a software-enabled services company providing a broad range of best-in-class proprietary cloud migration services. We have a SaaS platform that makes it easy to move your physical, virtual, or cloud-based workloads into a target cloud. We have worked with VMware and Cisco in the past. We are an AWS partner. We've worked with companies. We drove the mass migration competency at Hewlett-Packard and Ericsson, support for Verizon, etc. So we've been in this space for several years, and happy to be part of the presentation. So let's talk quickly. Pritham, do you want to introduce some of the general migration challenges that we see?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Michael. So I'll be introducing Juzer, who's from Royal Cyber. He is one of our speakers for today from Royal Cyber. Hi, Juzer.
Hello, Preetham. Hello, everyone. So, hello, everyone. I'm Juzer Ali, and I work as a solutions architect at Royal Cyber. I want to share some of the migration concerns that organizations typically face. Okay, yeah. All right, so in our experience with helping customers to migrate their workloads to the cloud, we come across questions like everything is on premise and how do we move our infrastructure to the cloud? What approach should we take, and what workloads should be a part of the pilot project to move to the cloud? And there might also be a case where you want to move from one cloud services provider to another due to pricing or features, and you might be wondering how to make such a move, right? And there could be production databases handling core transactions, how to cut over to the new databases hosted in the new cloud services provider without losing any revenue. And finally, how secure is going to be this transition, right? When we are migrating your data from on-premise or another cloud provider to a new platform, how is data security actually going to be handled? Therefore, handle these concerns among some more, we developed a solution that would make it simple to migrate your infrastructure to the cloud while maintaining data integrity and tight security controls and minimal to no downtime for your production workloads. So our offerings are based on migration services and managed services, right? Our migration services ensure that there's smooth and seamless transition of your infrastructure to the cloud with no disruptions to the business. And our managed services ensure that once your workloads have been migrated to the cloud, they keep on functioning smoothly and that you're following all the best practices for running your applications in the cloud. We ensure that you're making use of the elasticity and auto-scaling features of the cloud while making sure that your operating costs are completely optimized, and so that you're not even spending a penny more than you need to. And this is one of the biggest benefits of the cloud, that you can fine-tune your spending, and our managed services continuously help you lower costs for you. We also make sure that your infrastructure operates in a healthy manner and that we automate the infrastructure setup and monitoring so that you can focus on writing your applications. And talking more about the migration services.
Hi, yes, Juzer. So for RiverMeadow, and specifically, we apply this to AWS, but we support multiple cloud targets. We have always found that moving to the cloud, folks want to know, what's the cloud going to cost me? And the portfolio of services that Royal Cyber has to offer, I think, can answer those questions and set some confidence in the customer as they choose what to move and what it's going to cost, and work within their operating model to take advantage of what the cloud has to offer. The second question we hear often is it secure? Is the cloud secure? Is the transition to the cloud secure? Again, RiverMeadow, we do all of the transfer of that data point to point behind the customer's boundary of security. The customer establishes connectivity between the source and target environments. That can be leased line, MPLS, site-to-site VPN, or whatever matches your security requirements to move that data securely. We do encrypt the data as we do the transfer. However, as you invoke your InfoSec department or your security network team, often they want to have a layer of protection themselves. They want to ensure that that transition pipeline is protected, and we work within that. All we care about is a TCP/IP routable path. High performance, secure workload transition into the cloud. We are agentless. This means that RiverMeadow will reach into those workloads and speak to those workloads and orchestrate their move without installing software, without installing drivers, and without requiring a reboot. And this allows your users to work against those servers as we move them live into Amazon. And once it's over there, you can run your UAT testing, run your suitability for cloud, ensure that it has the appropriate elements that you'll need for the transition to the cloud. And then you manage the cutover, right? When you're ready, when you're confident that this machine is performing as you need to, you can do a differential sync and grab the deltas, and then process your cutover in your maintenance window. And we follow all of the AWS well-architected guidelines for a SaaS application. We are delivering to AWS. We follow all of the rules to ensure that the best security and the best capabilities are offered. including EBS disk encryption, etc., as you deliver these workloads into your target cloud. So as we look at kind of the footprint of RiverMeadow, you'll see that on the left-hand side here, you have an on-premise data center, or maybe some other cloud provider. RiverMeadow works with physical to cloud, virtual to cloud, or cloud to cloud. I can just as easily take an HP server in your data center as I can take a Google Cloud Ubuntu server into a target cloud, Amazon, or what have you. Again, the connectivity between the clouds is based on your connectivity, either direct connect, site-to-site VPN, or MPLS if you're doing some sort of gateway. That's really determined by you and your network team. We don't put any additional requirements from a migration perspective on what that connectivity has to be. Build it for your business, and we'll take advantage of that connectivity. We drop them into the availability zones and the VPCs. We support all regions today. We support all versions of Windows up to 2016, all the way back to 2003, Service Pack 2. And we support RHEL 5 and up. We support CentOS 5 and up. We support SLES 11, Service Packs 1 through 4. And Ubuntu 10, 12, 14, and 16. So we have a great array of operating system support that you can pull into your Amazon, including all of the versions, Debian, what have you, that Amazon supports. We can take them all into Amazon. If Amazon supports it as a target, we support moving it as a target as well. Next slide. When we do this work, we realize that not everything can be moved as is. We at RiverMeadow complements the Royal Cyber suite of services by being an as-is lift and shift tool where appropriate. But in your journey to the cloud, as you make that transition, there's always some assessment, some analysis, and some transformation that you're going to want to do either to your network infrastructure as it goes into this new cloud model, or your applications, or what have you. Maybe you want to adopt some DevOps as part of this process and evolve along with your move to the cloud. This is where a partner like Royal Cyber comes in with a broad range of services to augment this as-is lift and shift capability and really round out a powerful combination of capabilities. Juzo, did you want to speak to any of those particulars?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So just to build on that, the solution that Mike talked about, let's talk about how we take that solution and translate into a 4-step process that will let you easily migrate to the cloud. So we have a 4-step process here. We start with the discovery phase where we work with you to identify the workloads that need to be migrated, along with the server and network configuration, SLAs, security and compliance requirements, and then we prepare the entire bill of materials. And then we move to the analysis phase where we use the information captured in the last phase and then design the migration strategy to seamlessly migrate the workloads while minimizing the costs and ensuring maximum performance for the migration jobs. Then we move on to the migration phase where we actually execute our migration plan using the SaaS-based managed migration service that Michael talked about. And here we actually migrate everything from your web and app servers, DNS, load balancers, middlewares, what have you. And then we capture all of the topology. For example, if you're moving to AWS, then we capture everything in CloudFormation templates, which can be reused to replicate the entire infrastructure from scratch quickly, like, you know, in disaster recovery or any other scenario. And then finally, I think we moved one more slide ahead. Can you go back one more slide? Yep. So finally, in the validation phase, we verify the integrity of the entire migration process while ensuring that all the functional and non-functional requirements have been met properly. So let's talk a little bit more about each of these phases in more detail. And I'd like to invite our senior solutions engineer, Saber Mustafa, to talk about it.
Hi, Joseph and Mike. Thank you. So, okay, can we move to the next slide, yes?
I believe, sorry to interrupt you guys. I think, Saber, you have the controls. So do let me know in case if there is a challenge.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I got it. Thanks a lot. Okay, so guys, while we have been going along this path, we have learned that migration is generally only a one-time activity. So organizations do not engage resources that linger on with them. To address their migration and the other challenges, including the resource utilization and effective working, we have designed a four-phase process that will ensure the seamless migration of the whole infrastructure. Either these are physical machines or they are VMware machines or in the infrastructure. Generally, we are committed to perform this work within a span of maximum 60 days, where phase one will starting from the requirement analysis, it will take 2 to 3 days. Phase two will be there with the access and plan for up to 7 to 10 days. Phase three will be the core migration from on-premise to the cloud. That will be depending upon the size of the infrastructure, can take to 30 to 60 days. And after that, we offer the ongoing support and maintenance. But that phase four is bound to the requirement. If client want us, we will continue to support them, or we define an enablement plan where we improve and empower the client resources to handle the infrastructure once it is migrated to the cloud. So here, what will happen that when we are engaged with our client, we started by moving to the phase number one, that is requirement analysis. Here we will access their current state of the infrastructure and quantify the benefits of the migration. And we work with them to identify the key requirements and constraints for the cloud migration. You can see we have mentioned a few of the activities which we perform in this phase, but there is a long list of it. The main things where the CTO or CFO will be more interested is the TCO and ROI estimation. Then the technical manager will be interested in the application and infrastructure assessment. That has to be very much accurate. The pilot application, we sit with their application developers, the application development leads and managers to find out the way how to they will be migrated. And upon that, we also establish a project migration plan. Once this phase is completed, we then move on to the next phase, that is for the access and the planning. And generally, we finish up this phase within 7 to 10 days. And here, what we do, we generally use and conduct the knowledge session with the client teams, and we get a comprehensive approach for their cloud migration. In this phase, we have workshop, we have knowledge transfer sessions, documentation access, the keys, benefits, and the other systems are with us, where generally we also interview with the key resources and try to find out their pain points and map those into our plan, action of plan. So once we are moving ahead, the things should not be a problem. At this stage, we also get use cases prepared and perform the creation of the next action items. Going forward, we move on to the build and migration phase. Now, this is the core phase. Here, we comes with our expertise and we engage RiverMeadows with us by understanding the workload migration and lift and shift migration challenges that RiverMeadows can help us in it. What we got after being partnered with RiverMeadows, that the workloads, like if you are having a machine of with 100 gig of space stored on a local computer, we will just do that the RiverMeadows software will just implement its strategy and migrate that whole machine from on-premise to the Amazon ideally, but you can definitely go to any cloud platform that you want. And only key of migration is your bandwidth. If you have good bandwidth, usually we migrate the 100 GB hard disk machine within 24 hours. It totally depending upon the network bandwidth. And at this phase, we create the virtual private network, internal gateways, network gateways, the network plans, routing tables, and the rest of the systems which are definitely required for a seamless execution of the end products. They are all performed in this phase. We also have the team of quality engineers that perform quality testing of the use cases that we had created during the phase number 2. And upon the completion of these all phases, we definitely get a sign off from the customer when they execute and run the use cases, and they are satisfied with their area of expertise that are implemented to help them moving to the next level. When the efficient 3 is completed, now it is total a phase where we let the customer know that if they are going with us, what we do, we perform an end-to-end maintenance and operation for the client. What is the benefit here? That client can only focus on their business. They will only focus on their business. They don't need to see what is happening in the infrastructure. What they do, they just send us the requirement that what they want to do in the infrastructure is modified, and the team of engineers from Royal Cyber will make that changes for them, and the things will carry on. Basically, it is a type of operating model that we provide to the customer on 24/7 to 365 days managed services, where our engineer become part of the customer. So customer focus on their business and we focus on their application and business availability to make it happen. On the basis of these things, we sit with RiverMeadows and we then built and chalked out some of the many of the success stories. So we will be sharing our success stories here with you. So Mike, can you please take control from here and explain a bit?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much. I think as we go through these, we'll talk about kind of the key aspects of these projects. The first use case that we have here, case study that we have here, we got contacted by a global entertainment company, and they had an edict from their CIO. In 1 year, you will be in the cloud. And for those people that didn't make that transition, their job was at stake. They had investor relations come in, and they were not happy with their valuation, and their valuation was largely tied to the fact that their systems were old, and for a company that deals in new business and new entertainment opportunities, to have some of these legacy systems was seen as a detractor for their investors. They held a panel of the top 5 vendors in the space and did a shootout between those vendors. We all were able to present, and RiverMeadow won the bid based on a couple of key items. First and foremost, we were able to complete our POC as we set up and start migrating usually within 15 minutes. We were able to set up our POC and get the first 4 servers migrated. We started at 10 a.m. Those servers were done by 2 p.m. They took a late lunch and gave their status to their management team. The next closest competitor after 3 weeks was still unable to set up in their AWS VPC, which they were supposed to support. And this was a critical element to winning that bid. The second and more critical element was that we are agentless. This customer had 1,000 servers they had to move and a petabyte of data that they had to move in 1 year's time. They had moved 500 terabytes via Snowball, and they had 500 terabytes to go. We were able to engage that customer 9 months before project delivery time was due, and we delivered those 500 terabytes across their wire in roughly 7.5 months. Mostly physical to cloud, draining data centers and putting them into a very elaborate Amazon infrastructure. Customer was very happy, and I think the other important key takeaway from this use case is that the customer didn't have to have a lot of high-paid consultants. They were able to staff this from internally with junior engineers that don't have to know the order of operations required to migrate a system into Amazon. They don't have to pre-install software. They point, they click, it goes, they validate. And they were able to get into a great cadence very quickly. The second use case here is a top law enforcement technology company. They won a national bid for deploying their product across the nation. That was 90 new sites, 90 law enforcement agencies, and they went from having a customer base of dozens to thousands, and they needed to get up and scale fast. They contacted RiverMeadow. They needed a quick transition. It's a small project, but a quick transition with no downtime. Because we were agentless and live, we were able to move that company into their AWS environment that was built in conjunction with a partner and with Amazon. They were able to move in, start their CI/CD builds immediately the next week from the Amazon infrastructure, and then move their production the following week. So 3-week transition with planning and cutover, and they were able to cut over in a weekend, move their production into ASGs, auto-scale groups, and meet their deliverable and their timeline to capitalize on this amazing capability that Amazon has and this incredible business opportunity that they were presented with. And the last use case that we have here, if someone could advance the slide for me. And this is your use case, Sabir, if you want to speak to this.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Basically, it is R and RiverMeadows joint use case. So, but I will take the liberty to talk on it, right? So, this is one of the US huge automobile manufacturer. The huge is the most suitable word for them, and they have worldwide sales in high quality premium cars. And what was their challenge? That they were using on-premise infrastructure to manage their databases. Their cloud infrastructure was not available, and their business was taking much time. They had a problem of CI/CD pipelines were not built into time, and hence the time to market for their product was slowed down. Here, what came into action that Royal Cyber engineers visited them. We presented them with a solution, and we also presented them with the migration strategy. They had around 300 plus machines, and what we did that we brought up their cloud infrastructure seamless, and then with the help of the SaaS-based solution offered by the RiverMeadows, we implemented that solution, and we were able to transfer their VMs within 1.5 weeks of time after completing the initial assessment. So basically what phases I had shown you, so on the basis of those phases and working, you can say that within 35 to 40 days, we were very good in the cloud. And their time to market, their data center working, all were vanished. Their team was very much competent to work on their environment rather than taking care of the infrastructure. And you can see in the key takeaways that their 60% ROI was increased. They had the 50% of time savings. And the most important thing was that they got the 90% increase in the timely alert resolution, because we had implemented a centralized monitoring system. So whenever an alert came, we were able to address that alert within 5 minutes, and end-to-end infrastructure was under monitoring 24/7. And this thing also increased their return on investment and the loss in the business when they were handling the infrastructure over the cloud. So this is one of those automobile manufacturer. Let me take you to the next slide. Pritham, can you move me there? I think my mouse is a bit stuck. It's not listening to me. Okay, yes, thanks a lot. So the next is our financial institute. So basically, you are using cards, debit cards, credit cards, having the Visa logo, Master logo. So we attached ourselves to one of the financial institutes, and those financial institutes were basically having the same issue. They were maintaining their infrastructure on-premise, but they were running the VMware workloads. And they had the same challenges, that their CI/CD tasks were very low, and frankly speaking, if I talk to you regarding the build and execution, there were around, you can say, daily 2 to 3 builds. And in case of those 2 to 3 builds, they were not in a position to run the builds during the business time. So what happened that in that case, we again moved in, and with the help of the migration technologies, when we were in a position to work on it properly, we just migrated them very successfully onto the cloud. And the benefit of migrating from the VMware infrastructure onto the AWS infrastructure was a very good and cost-effective way of working with the client. And you can see that their application became highly available. And with the challenging feature of blue-green deployments in AWS, we were able to perform live deployments during the business hour. So we not only saved their time in migration to cloud, but we also gave them a very strong deployment 24/7. So they are now very much free of hazard to wait for 24 hours or 48 hours to deploy the application into the system. And moving along to the next slide, if I show you, there is a legal service providers. So these are also one of the system. Although they are a small company, they were having around 60 plus machines, and those machines were using a document management system and the Oracle based software infrastructure. Our efforts in implementation help them to migrate their workloads again from the on-premise to the Amazon. What happened in our efforts that we not only transferred them from on-premise to the cloud, but we also optimized their application. So what happened that their CPU demand was reduced and the user traffic was low. So what happened that they came up to the 40% of cost to save when they were performing any heavy operations. So these are a bit of the glimpse that we have shown to you our joint efforts and some of our individual efforts when we are working with the RiverMeadows migration. And as I had told you that after the phase 4, there are two things. Either we continue to support our client, or the client can go and ask us to enable their team to perform it going forward. So here is the portion of the client training and enablement. You can see we have 5 stages in this enablement, and we ensure that our client is good and his team is valid to do it, taking forward. In the assessment phase, we adopt the industry-based best practices, and we conduct knowledge workshops in order to provide a better solution to the challenges that are faced by the client, so that their team should not face it in the future. And what will happen that our assessment plan will include the assessment of the existing environment with them, their requirement documentation we will also do for future use. We will analyze their current processes, and we will tell them what we had modified for the future processes. And we will also provide them the solution details, how it was implemented, the scope and duration timeline we will also provide them. So they will be very much sure that what they are getting from us from scratch, what we did from them for day 1. After that, what we tell them, we will show them how it was implemented. In the implementation phase, we gather all the prerequisites and share an implementation plan with them and show their team with the dates and timelines that how we had implemented their system. Now, what is our goal in this training is our prime implementation focus is on deliverable. So as good is the deliverable, that will make the team more focused and more to the point when they are handling in our absence. After doing the implementation related work with them, we will then perform the core training portion. And after the implementation, as you know, when we did with them, so what we will do, we have a global delivery mechanism for trainings, and we offer them then both on-site and online training option, and our client can join from anywhere in the world. We have WebEx, GoToMeeting, many modern tools are available with our instructors. So we utilize the relevant tool for them. Then our key to customer success, what we keep in mind is that we are continue to mapping training plan based upon the deployment scenarios, as I discussed earlier, and demonstrate the students with their real world examples. So we will basically make them a stage environment also, so they can test and ensure that the same thing was running in their production. And to ensure their quality training delivered, we conduct the number of MCQs with them. We provide them exercises and labs. We challenge their capabilities to test and run the particular thing. And we have a good knowledge for them so that they can take control and run it from there onward. And once these all 4 phases are completed, then it becomes to the part of the managed services. And what will happen in the managed services, in case what we suggest to the client, what we will have with them is that when you are coming to the cloud managed services, so if you can see, we have a holistic implementation here. We have a process, we have a technology, we have people here. So in processes, we provide the SLAs, 24/7 support. We have ITIL based processes and industry best practices with us. In technology, we have the data center practices on the cloud and on the on-premise. So if you are in cloud, you need not to worry when we are handling the cloud from our end to ensure your business is running smooth. We have latest proactive monitoring tools and state-of-the-art knowledge base repositories. And we have the capability of one more thing which will save you the client cost, is that the auto scaling of infrastructure. So if during the business days it is peak load, the machines will automatically provision, and if the load is down, machines will automatically deprovision to save you in the cost. So you will not be paying for the 24 hours for machines, you will be paying only for the hours of utilization. So here we save the cost a lot to our clients. Then how we make a difference for you, that we have the certified technical expert. We have experts in AWS, Azure. We have the integration experts which are working with SaaS-based solutions like RiverMeadows and have the full domain knowledge of training in that product. We have the certified trainers. We have the cross skill set training capabilities. So if you're talking to one resource, he may be in AWS certified and also maybe the SaaS certified at the same time. And what we have is that our people are available for both on-site and off-site availability. So whether you are looking for a training person or whether you are looking for a technical expert, they can be on premises or you can keep them offshore or off the site if you are not willing to keep them on site. And here you can see it is a pretty self-explanatory cloud managed services slide. In the server management, we have a list of things. There is network management, security services. The special focus is to DR services, where we use to protect our client. End-to-end data services, like if one region is down, we still be in a position to keep their business up. And the top of things that will protecting your business along the way is the monitoring. So we have the application monitoring, DB monitoring in place, incident management in place. We have weekly and monthly reviews. We have the performance tuning. We have number of log monitoring and service monitoring tools with us, and the other monitoring and alerting tools which directly reach alerts to our engineers 24/7 to ensure that you will be working properly and business should not be down. And moving ahead of them, when we are offering these services, what is the benefit to you? Any person will think that, okay, I am investing in it, so what will be the benefit to my business? So the benefit is, let me show you that. The thing is that you will, these are the few of the benefits there. You will have the live access to our professionals, 24/7 they will be available. Then customer focused SLA. We will sit with you, we will decide your pain point, and the SLA will be drafted as per that plan. We have the assessment and evaluation services, build and implementation, troubleshooting and maintenance services, performance management, audit, security management, QA services. Best practices are part of our core business. We believe in best practices, and we have the business focused KPI. So whenever we will be talking with you each month or in 15 days, we will be telling you that the SLA meetup time and the KPIs that involved in that meetup, how they are compared and how they are good for you. Okay, can I move to the next slide, please? And here is one of the support model. What we offer to the cloud, our clients, right? Rather, they can have a remote team from us. So what will happen? Our point of contact will meet the customer point of contact, and then we will be in a position to keep talking, keep exchanging the knowledge, and we will be in a good position to perform any support work for them whenever needed.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. We will be opening the lines for Q&A session. If you have any questions regarding today's topic, please feel free to chat in the right side window, and we will have the questions answered for you. So looks like we don't have any further questions. So as a follow-up, thanks everyone for joining today's webinar. As a follow-up, we will be sharing the presentation to all our attendees. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email us at info@royalcyber.com. And thanks once again for participating in today's webinar, and have a great day. Thank you.